Hello, this is Helen from helenlindup.com. Nice to see you. And I'm going to take you through how to move a live workshop online. This has come about because I'm recording this about 4 weeks into the coronavirus lockdown here in the UK. And many people, many professionals, self-employed professionals, small businesses, were in a position where they were running live workshops face to face. And the lockdown happened and they had to take those live workshops online very quickly with very little preparation. And because I've got a background in training and creating online courses, I thought I have some tips here that I can share that could make that process a bit easier and make hopefully the resulting workshop a little bit more effective. Now here I'm talking about workshops, online workshops. Now those are slightly different from online courses. Online workshops are mainly live. You mainly have a tutor or a trainer or somebody in a teaching role teaching them, and that's different from an online course, because with an online course it's mostly recorded. You can mostly access it anytime you want to, day or night. It's mostly delivered automatically. There is a bit of overlap, but the way that you plan and prepare the two are a bit different. So that's why I'm separating those out. I do have an entire course on how to make online courses, and I'll put a link to that under the video. And I do have lots of other resources on my website for helping you streamline your business using tech. So do check out helenlindup.com. But let's get straight into this. The first thing I want to get across is that I don't think you should be using Zoom all the time. Now, I love Zoom. I think it's a fantastic tool, but what I'm seeing is people really taking their workshops online by basically doing pretty much the same thing, just sticking a camera in front of themselves and doing it online with Zoom. That's not great because I don't know if you've tried it, but if you've been in front of Zoom or any video conferencing tool really, for any length of time in a day, it's really tiring. So I don't think you're going to get that engagement. You're not going to get people's attention. There's a lot of distractions. Now, the distractions at the moment with the lockdown are sky high because a lot of people are living at home with their entire families, so distractions are a problem. But even if you were in a more normal situation and you were in an office environment, there are a lot more distractions in that environment than there would be if you took that person out and put them in a training room for a day. So distractions are a problem with online learning anyway. So I think this would be good practice for if people do want to keep their workshops online when we all get back to some kind of normality, whenever that may be. So yeah, there are better ways than 100% Zoom, more effective ways, and there are loads of tools out there in the online world that you can use that you may not be aware of that can make for a much better learning experience than just sticking it all in front of a video and broadcasting it across the internet. So let's look at those. So let's look at a live workshop. This would be if you're in a training room with a group of people and you're teaching them all day, and really you all go in the morning. You have their attention for the entire day, and then they leave at the end of the afternoon, whatever time that may be. And you have pretty much their undivided attention if they're adults and want to be there. Now you will get breaks, but often if you're in a break, you're still talking about the content of the course and you're networking with the people there. So it's a really focused experience. And as I said, if you take that online, you don't have that focus. You've got people looking at other windows on their computer. You've got other people walking past and distracting them. You've got people getting tired, all sorts of things. So it pays to have a different approach and to just be more flexible in your delivery if you're doing your workshop online. So if you imagine the live workshop looking like that, fairly solid block of time where you have people's undivided attention mostly. This is how it might look online. So instead of having that solid block of time to make use of those additional tools, to make use of the fact it's tiring and you've got more distractions, how about breaking that up? This is just an example. So at the start of the workshop, now that may not necessarily be an entire day anymore. You could spread this over several days, several weeks, if that was what worked for you. So at the start, you might all get together, you and your delegates, and have a group Zoom call. I'm using Zoom because that's the most commonly used one I'm seeing at the minute, but any video conferencing tool would be fine. But you'd have a group call. You would introduce the content, the course, how it was going to work, get across your initial material. You could do a Zoom breakout room, so that would be how Zoom will break your group down into smaller groups, and they can go away and discuss things and then come back afterwards. You could do that. You could then maybe send them away to read some articles, watch some videos, do some research. You could give them an individual project that they might type up in a word processing tool of some kind, or a PowerPoint presentation, or whatever format suits your purposes. They could have feedback from you or a discussion with the other course members in a forum of some kind. That could be a Slack group, more on the tools later, or something like a Facebook group where they discuss their ideas and you can give them some feedback, and then they might return to that individual project, whatever that might be, and then you may have a group Zoom call at the end to summarize, for them to present their results, their project, and to draw conclusions and whatever needs to be done. Really, it depends on the content of the course. Now, as I said, only some of that needs to be all at the same time. There's only some parts where you all need to be together at exactly the same time, and that can be very much more flexible for people that are working around other tasks, other commitments. It also gives people if they need more time, they can have a bit more time than you would perhaps give them in a face-to-face workshop. It means they've got more time to reflect and more time to practice. So there are actually benefits to doing it this way, other than just keeping their attention better. So you may be thinking, okay, that's great, I'll have a think about that, but what platform do I use to manage all this? That's a lot more complex than just talking into a camera using Zoom. It is a bit more complex, but you certainly don't need one big learning platform, one big all-in-one learning platform, and I would recommend not going down that route initially anyway, because you need time to experiment with this and you need time to get feedback from your course members on what's really working for them. So don't feel you need to go and learn something big and new and set up a new platform that's really expensive. You don't. There are lots of tools you can use which are free in a lot of cases, or quite cheap in others. And that's what I'm going to take you through now. Now, this will be just a selection of ones that I've used or I've seen. There are lots of other ones out there, but I want to keep this manageable for you. So let's take a look at the first slide of those now. So I've already been mentioning Zoom, but there are other video conferencing tools like Microsoft Teams. In the lockdown or the coronavirus period, Microsoft Teams is free for everyone. Not sure how long that'll last, but I've had a go with that. It's a very good tool, well worth looking at. Slack, which I mentioned before, that's a team working tool really for groups to collaborate. It's mainly designed to reduce to and fro emails if you're working as a team, and it's fantastic for that. But it doesn't have to be a project team. It could be a learning team. So it could be all your course members are part of Slack and they can share what they've learned, and you can upload resources to that. You can upload text and images, and if you can't upload them, you can always link to them. So that's a very good tool for sharing. Padlet is a really nice tool that I like a lot. If you imagine an online pin board that you or a group of people can pin things to, so you can pin your ideas on it and click and drag them around, and your your course members could do that to share their work or share their ideas. There's always Dropbox and Google Drive that you could set up a folder in, and people could save their work to that if you wanted to. If you have a WordPress site, then there's a very simple to use password protection. You can just tick a box saying password protect, put your password in, and then nobody can find that page if they're coming in off the internet. And then you give that password to your course members and they can see the resources you put on that page of your WordPress site. Something that's very simple and completely free to do is just come up with a hashtag that you can use on social media. This is good for courses where you're teaching art, design, photography, that sort of thing. So people could upload their work or their photos or whatever it is they're doing to Instagram or Twitter, use that hashtag, and then they can see the work that other course members have been doing. You can use a Facebook group, and that's good on the one hand because almost everybody's got a Facebook login, a Facebook account, and they can find their way to groups and they know how groups work. Groups now also have units in them, so you can set up a group as a course quite easily. The downside with Facebook groups is that the Facebook terms don't allow you to sell access to your Facebook group. So if it's a paid course, that's a little tricky. If it's a paid course, I'd be inclined to use something like Slack instead for that. If you're sharing video, you can use Vimeo, and that's easier to limit access to than YouTube. You can password protect videos on Vimeo as well. I know lots of course creators use YouTube, and they set the video to unlisted, so it's freely accessible on YouTube, but you can't find it by searching. You have to know the URL of the video to see it. Again, similar snag as with Facebook groups, in that the YouTube terms say that you can't sell access to videos, and if they discover you're doing that, they may shut your YouTube channel down. So word of warning on that one. You could just use an email marketing platform, so MailChimp, MailerLite, Aweber, oh, my mind's gone blank. Any of those that I typically use for email marketing. You could set up a list or a segment of your list and use that to send out emails that are timed based on when you want people to be doing the work. So on the day it starts, you send a welcome email. On the next day, you're reminding them to go into Slack or watch this video or feedback on this or work on their project and so on. And that can help get those timings right if that's an important part of your course. Google Classroom is something that I know a lot of schools are using to deliver material, deliver lessons in the lockdown while a lot of kids are being homeschooled. So it's designed for schools and colleges, but you can get it if you're not a school or college. If you have G Suite, it's an additional service, so you would just need to Google that, Google Classroom. I would say you're going further down the route of that all-in-one platform, and that's probably not necessary if you're just getting started, but it's just an interesting one to maybe take a look at, and I believe it's pretty easy to set up as well. So the key thing, I think, is to decide on your learning objectives for the course. So what do they need to come out of this course knowing and being able to do? And then decide on the best way of delivering each of those learning objectives, rather than just going straight over to Zoom and doing it on Zoom, because I think you're going to get a much better course and much better outcomes if you break it down by the learning objectives and you pick a method that's going to work for those. I know that that's easier said than done. If you think you would like a course, for me to do a course or a workshop on how to do that, then I can do that. It really depends on the demand. So if that's something you would like to see, then do post me a comment below this video or track me down on social media. I'm on Twitter, or send me a message through my website, helenlindop.com, and give me some feedback, and then I can maybe look into that if the demand is there. But if not, I hope that's been useful. I hope that's given you some things to think about, and I hope that your delegates, your course members, get a lot out of your course. I mean, I know I'm a bit of a geek. I've been into online learning for a long time now, and I genuinely see it as a good thing. I think there are things you can do online that you can't do face to face, and I think it's a fantastic opportunity at the moment. It's just that we're all, so many people are just not very well prepared for this, because obviously we had no notice of this virus, did we, and how it was going to change our lives. So good luck. If you go to my website, helenlindop.com, you'll find a load of resources, some free downloads that will help you in streamlining your business with tech. So do take a look at that. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.